Hi guys, it's Rose. Welcome back. And I'm actually getting another weekly video out. I think it might be a little bit more than a week because I actually recorded this video previously and I found that I was speaking so quickly that I couldn't understand myself. And I thought it would be very hard for you guys to understand me if I couldn't understand myself. So I'm going to try to slow down a small bit. Anyway, so I decided to show you guys this technique that I've used here. I was looking to make something with this piece of card that I had cut this die out of. I wanted to use the frame for something else, so I cut it out of this card and I had the card left, so I wanted to make something with that. So that was what I came up with. Now I'm doing it again for this video, but I didn't have another one of those cards, so I used a white one that I have there. It's just a card base. Not sure how big it is, what size it is even. It's just over 5.5 by just over 4. So it's quite small. So I went ahead and I prepared a few bits and pieces for this. So what I did was I cut our piece out of here. Not going to be using that here. I will keep that for another project. And then I went ahead and I cut the same die from gold metallic cardstock, and I cut the middle part out. We'll see on this piece here, it's got perforated oval around the center, so I cut that piece out. So today we're going to be doing an inlay technique that I came across watching Jennifer McGuire's channel. Now I know Jennifer is a card maker and I don't really make cards. I'm not very good at it, but I watch Jennifer because she is so uber talented and amazingly creative, and she has a lot of really cool techniques. So this is one of the ones that I got on Jen's channel. Okay, so we have our two pieces, and what I also did, I kept the little pieces that popped out of the die. You know, for instance, from here, all these little holes, I kept all of those pieces, and I have them all in here in a little box. So I have those there. You'll see why we need those shortly. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be fitting the frame that we cut out into the hole, or the space that was left behind on the original one, the first one that we cut out. And here's my little kitty cat to say hello, because he's a very needy baby and he can't be without his mammy for 5 minutes. Yes, come on sweetheart, over here. Good boy. There's mama's baby. So first of all, what we need to do is to back this piece here so that this will have something to lay on. So I have a piece cut for it, just of decorative cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. And I did try to have a lot of the things prepared before the video, but this was just one of the things I forgot to do, and I apologise. But it won't take long. If I start slipping into high-speed chatter again, I do apologise. It's just something that I'll have to be very aware of from myself, I think. And please feel free to let me know in the comments if I'm still speaking too quickly. Nobody's actually said anything about me speaking quickly, but what made me start thinking about it was that I saw on the stats in my YouTube channel that some of the videos had the subtitles turned on. And I thought that maybe that was because I was speaking too quickly in my lovely Irish brogue. And here he's back again. Okay, I'm going to turn off the camera and deal with this, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I'm back. I'm just gluing the curved piece onto the back of this. He is settled in the bed beside me and I'm hoping he will stay happy there for a little while. So yeah, I'm just going to glue this paper on here, and when I'm gluing it on, I need to make sure that these little bits that wibble and wobble, that they're aligned correctly to the inlay piece that we're going to put in. So it is a little bit fiddly. Now, when I'm pressing these down, I'm going to press them gently so that they're kind of just falling where they naturally fall, without moving them too much. But unfortunately I do have a little bit of glue on the front, so I need to get rid of at least some of that, and that will move my pieces, so I need to come back in a second and check that they're in the proper position. When I made this video the first time, I asked a question, and it was something that I actually really want to know the answer to, and I'm curious as to whether you guys, do you make your ephemera in bulk, or do you do it piece by piece, journal by journal, page by page, which is how I do it. And the reason I'm asking is I find it very time consuming to do it that way, but I don't see how I'd be able to do it the other way, because I don't know ahead of time what journals I'm going to be making. I don't know what themes I'm going to want to do, you know, that kind of thing. So how do people actually make ephemera in advance and have it work for their journals? I don't understand how that works. So what do you guys do? How do you do it? Tell me in the comments below. Now, these little pieces seem to be very offline. They were fitting fine earlier on, and now they seem very off. So I have a little bit of fiddling to do here. The rest of them are fine. I think it's just this one piece up here. Okay, so I think we've gotten them all. I hope we've gotten them all, because it can make things very difficult afterwards if we don't. Once it's dried, there's no manoeuvring it, you know. So I'm going to pop that back out. It has stuck to some of the glue, but I'll just pop it out. It will be fine. There we go. And oh, I'm going to turn it over and give it a quick rub of the bone folder, just to make sure it's all nicely adhered. Now, I am sorry if my head was in the way there. I had promised myself that I would stand up while I was doing this video so that my head wouldn't be getting in the way. But I had to sit down for that particular part, I think. There's just a tiny little bit of trimming to do here, which I was trying to avoid, but hey ho. Now, so that's that part. Now for the tricky part. Well, it's actually not that tricky now that we have all this sorted out, so it'll be okay. The tricky part is actually putting the glue onto this. But I have a glue pen. It's just a Do Crafts Stick It Sticky glue pen. So that's what I'm using. And I'm just going to run it all the way around the frame here. Oh, I forgot our inlay piece. Oh no, I actually forgot a piece to go into this. What am I like? Okay, we'll just have to wing it, I think. Oh, Yeah, I'm gonna have to stick this onto the back of this, which, you know, it'll be fine. It's just not how I planned it. The way it should be done is for this to be stuck onto this backing piece inside the card, so that the corners would be hidden. But we can work around that. So I'm just going to go all around the frame. And I'm going to go right to the edge of the frame now because of the way we have to do it here. Okay. Now you could also give your centerpiece a coating of varnish or something like that. I did a wax coating on my last one, this piece, and it will look like a varnished picture in the frame, which is quite nice. So, oh, come back. So that's that. Now this one has to be positioned pretty precisely because there's a framer on the outside of it as well, which would make it very obvious if it was off. Okay, that is that. Hoping that I still have all my pieces in place. Okay, so what I've ended up doing is I've had to cut the back piece to the oval at the back so that it's not coming out past all the little bits. And if you do as I do and forget to put it on at this point, cut your piece into an oval before you put it on. It's much easier. This project is not going as planned. But anyway, we'll motor on. So we need to get our glue on all our bits, or as much of them as possible. Now there is glue on them since I put it on a minute ago, but a lot of it has dried, so I'm just going to go around them again. Because like I said, we want to make sure these pieces stick and don't lift. And Kitty Cat is after waking up from his snooze. Here he comes. Hi, Bookat. This is Smudge, by the way. Hi, baby. I'll get you sorted now in just a second, sweetheart, okay? You can have a looking at him there while I'm gluing away here. Fiddly fiddly. The worst thing about it is that it takes long enough that some of the glue has dried, or almost dried, before you've gone all the ways around. I think that's everything. Squiggle on the back. Don't want to put too much on the back because this is lightweight paper and it will buckle. Again, we're going to wipe our glue out of the way. Okay, let's see if it works this time. They seem to be going good so far. Just pushing them into the little spaces that are there for them. I'm pressing down my nail just to make sure they're fully seated in there. Trying to wipe off the glue as I go so that I don't end up with glue smudges all over. I'm sure like a little picker tool might work for this. I don't like using something with a point on it like this because it just puts dents into the metallic card and stuff. So I use the back of it. just to push them into place. It's got a nice flat end on it, like that, and it just helps seat them into their little spaces, and it stops me getting glue all over it with my fingers as well. Okay, so that's what we have right now. Now, that actually looks okay, but I don't want that pattern paper showing through here like this. I don't know if you'll be able to see that here and here. So that's where the little bits that I kept from the white come in. Now, yes, this is uber fiddly, but I actually quite like it. Now, what are those called? Those little jewel pickers, is it? One of those will be very handy right now. I don't have one, unfortunately, but I just work away. Now I do have a glue pen somewhere. I do have this glue pen. I didn't use it for the bigger piece because I feel that it's not strong enough. But for the small little pieces, I think it'll do just fine. And it is Sailor 2-in-1 rolling ball glue pen. And I just got that in the range, I think it was. So that's that. So I'm going to start by sorting out my little bits. And here's one, I know where that one goes. So we'll start with that one. And I'm going to zoom it in a little bit. Oh. Okay, so we're going to be working on this piece here. And I'm going to put some glue in there, into that space. Just make sure it's quite difficult to see this glue going in, even though it is a light blue rather than a clear glue, but my paper is also light blue, so yeah. And then I'm going to pick up this little piece, and this is big enough that I can actually pick it up with my fingers. And I'm going to pop that into place and press it in. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Ooh. Now we have a little bit of a dent in my card there. There we go, that's a bit better. So you go around all of the little openings, all the teeny tiny ones as well, and pop in all the bits. So I'm going to go ahead and work away on that. I'll zoom it out a little and I'll fast forward this bit and I'll be back to you when I'm done. Okay, so that's all done, and you can see now it looks, I think anyway, it looks much better than if you don't do the inlay of the little pieces. It is tempting to not do it, I will say, and to think, oh, it's fine, it won't be noticed, and you know, you're probably right, and that probably wouldn't be noticed by too many people, but I just think it looks so much better with all the pieces in there. I don't know, maybe people would notice, I don't know. Anyway, so that's that part of it. That's the actual inlay technique. Now I am going to finish off the card for you, just so that we can see what's going on. I think it looks very pretty. And just gonna just glue all over it. Careful as I am, I always seem to manage to get glue on things. Anyway, okay, so on the inside of this I have picked out an image for here. It's just an image of some ladies and a little girl in the garden. And so I'm going to get out my PVA glue for this. This is just a, it's a builder's PVA, I think. And I like it because it does not seem to have as much moisture content as the other PVAs. That could be me talking codswallop, but that's just what I find with it. So I'm just going to slap some glue on the back of this. Of course, I don't know where my little dabber brush thing is gone. What's it called? Sponge brush, that's the one. Now I'm going to zoom me back out there actually, so you can see my mess. There you go. Okay, just getting some glue on here. Not too much. It's light paper, it's only copy paper, so it doesn't need a whole lot. Pick it up carefully, get rid of that glue. This is something I've had to train myself to do, is get rid of the glue on my desk, and it's still, I still manage to get it everywhere. So you can imagine what it was like before I started doing that. Anyway, I'm going to center this just by eye. I'm not measuring or anything, it's fine. And I'm going to give it a wipe with some of this small little tiny little bit of tissue paper that I have on the desk. What am I like? And I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to do any more to it. So you have your little frame with your image in there, and you flip it open, you have a picture. And for the other side, I'm going to make a little notebook. And first thing I'm going to, oh, excuse me, that went everywhere. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a little kind of, almost like a little holder for the top of it, just to strengthen everything. Now on the other one that I made, I do have stamping on all the pages, and it looks very sweet. But I forgot to pull out my stamps, so for the sake of the video I'm not going to do that. I'll do it later. So I have here a piece of card, it's just tea stain card. And it's got the same width as my papers. I prepared it in advance, ha ha ha, and on the top of it, let's see if I can open it out a bit, there is a teeny tiny spine just here. It's about, is it even 1/8 of an inch, a 1/16 of an inch maybe, just to give some little bit of room to the papers, that I'm not trying to squish them all into a flat piece. So that's that. It fits across the top, front and back like this. Get our ducks in a row here. Okay, I'm going to pull out my little piece again. Again, doing this by eye. This isn't actually going to be seen, so it's not that big of a deal. So I'm just going to eyeball it and put a hole there. Whatever looks right to me. Another one there. That's that. I'm going to grab my needle, my large needle, of which I seem to be missing one, but anyway. Here it is, come out. I really need to get something better to store my needles in. Like a needle case that Nick the Booksmith had a tutorial for, a little felt needle case. So I might make one of those. Oh, come out. You'll hear my other cat there bawling because she wants to go outside. She's just come in from being outside and she's bawling. We don't let them out roaming around. We take them outside on a harness and lead because it's just too dangerous around here. So this is just some strong thread. It's just extra strong thread. I think it's cotton. It doesn't appear to be any kind of nylon. Could be wrong. I'm just going to measure off 2 measurements, and I'm doubling my thread as well. So that's that. This is a very simple little notebook. Nothing fancy about it. And I think Nick did something like this as well, actually, a few months ago, I think. So we are going to tie it at the back. So we'll come in from the back and out through the front, down through the front. And that is all I'm doing. Just going to pull it through, or I'm going to try to pull it through. Here we go. And I'm going to tie a knot here at the back. Just a regular tie box knot or just a regular knot. Really doesn't matter. Just make sure it's snug. You don't want everything kind of flopping around the place. Technical term. Sorry, Nick. So there's that. If any of you watched Nick the Booksmith, you'll know what that was about. Okay, so I'm using this Dovecraft Ultimate Craft Glue. It's a bit like Glossy Accents, but it's just not as good. It's brilliant as a glue, but it doesn't do the nice effects that the Glossy Accents does. Ooh. And I've just put out way too much there. See if we can spread that bit around a bit. So we're going to be gluing the knot as well, so that's not going to open anytime soon. And this glue, it takes a while to dry, but once it grabs, you're pretty okay. I use it on acetate and things like that a lot as well. Or obviously it takes longer to dry on that stuff, but okay. That's that. I'm going to put my little strings up out of the way. And I do apologise for the sunlight coming in there. I'm sticking to it. Oops. I'll pull it down here a bit, you might be able to see better. I'm just going to again centre this by eye. I'm not again measuring anything. And there we have a little notebook. So when we open it, ta-da! It's quite pretty. Across the top of this, you could leave it plain by all means. You could tie it at the front and tie a little bow and make it all pretty that way. Put some beads on it. But I chose to put some lace, hiding that cardboard and peeking out over the top. So I'm just going to get that in there. A bit of straight. Just a little bit past the edge of this. Lovely. And I'm just going to use some tacky glue for this. This is Anita's tacky glue. And this bottle of Anita's tacky glue has lasted me at the very least 6 months, if not more. A little goes a long way with this stuff. So, gluing all across that cardboard piece. Now obviously with the notebook you could do whatever you want. You could use pattern papers. You could actually even perforate the pages so they could be torn off like, you know, like little ticket things. But I'm just keeping it simple. That on there, a little piece coming out over the top, and that's what it looks like. It looks very sweet with the lace coming out over the top. So that is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the technique, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will leave a link to Jennifer's video down below, so do hop over and watch her as well. She's awesome. If you haven't already come across her, she has a lot of really great techniques. I'll zoom in there. Oop. Now that's it. Back out a tiny bit. So this light is a bit unfortunate, has to be said. There, that's better. I'll just use my hand to shade it for you. Okay guys, so that's it until next time, next week hopefully. Enjoy, have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.